It's going to be a mildly chaotic live stream. Mildly high-field chaotic.
Is it ever anything else but mildly chaotic?
I wish I just had something small hands.
I like this little tiny hands. The little tiny hands are my favorite.
Are they just like rubber? Or are they pencil top?
No, they're rubber, and then they have little things that jump there. Today you are a man, and then you can wear them on your fingers.
I love the sound effects. I think that is the best.
I don't know where the sound effects are coming from. Who is that? Somebody's blooping.
Is that me? That's not me.
Must be Amber.
Amber,
you know what? I think it's me. That's the infamous group chat. I'm going to exit out of it right now.
The group chat. Well, hello, everybody that's joining us here on our live stream today. It is Coffee Conversations number 52. I think we're somewhere in there. What day is it, Jen?
It's Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? See, I thought it was Thursday. I was waiting around for somebody to show up and pick up a guitar, and then I realized he wasn't coming till tomorrow.
Time is but again.
It's just crazy. The whole place is just nuts. I'm not drinking coffee today. I am drinking water because hydrate or dihydrate. Jen?
I'm drinking cold brew with a little splash of almond milk, but this is cold brew that I actually brewed myself. So I brewed the cold brew concentrate, cut it with a little bit of water, almond milk on top, put it in a mason jar with a metal straw, and here we are.
It's turned into a cooking tutorial real fast.
I give my my drink recipes on my Instagram stories, so.
Oh, that's right. We still need to start the In the Kitchen with Jen show because I want to do that.
Oh, that'd be a lot. Yeah. I don't think I would ask Noah to edit that because that would just be a lot.
It would not be edited. It would just be what it was.
Unedited, uncut.
Unedited, uncut, everything. Yeah, no, it'd be great. So what is this? This is the 8th week of quarantine, I think now. Something like that. Yeah, it's been a while. Just to give people a little idea of what's going on at the store. Our North Hills location is actually permitted to open. On Monday, I believe, is when we're going to start doing that. I believe the hours are going to be 10 to 6. So if you guys are looking for to be able to come into the store, of course, we are going to be practicing social distancing. We will be asking everybody to please wear a mask, or you won't be allowed in the store. And that's more for our staff protection. We will be wearing masks for you, and we will appreciate if you would wear masks for us, so that everybody can stay safe. As far as the New Brighton location goes, we're still up in the air as far as opening. As many of you who are in Western Pennsylvania know, we are still in the red category. For some reason, we are the only county that was left in the red after everybody else in Western Pennsylvania went to the yellow. There has been talk about the fact that they're not going to prosecute stores for being open, but we're going to err on the side of caution and at least stay shut another week. But we will keep you updated on times there. Of course, if you need anything, we are always here for you. You can call our store, which is the New Brighton store is 724-843-9380. Rings to my cell phone if I'm not here. So we will always take care of you. I always answer the phone, and we'll be able to hook you up with whatever you need. So that's the housekeeping we have at the moment. So there. So today we have Amber. Hey, Amber.
Oh, hey, Amber.
And what do you do, Amber?
So I am not in the Pennsylvania area anymore. Of course, I graduated from Blackhawk with Jennifer. But what was it? 2 years ago, I moved to Chicago, Illinois, where I worked in Chicago public schools for a year. But now I am the vocal performance and piano teacher at a brand new middle school / high school art school. It's called Art in Motion. It's the only art school on the south side of Chicago. If you know anything about Chicago, it's ginormous. And all of the more affluent area is up in the north side. But in the south side, we are the very first art-focused middle school, soon to be high school.
Now the south side of Illinois, is that where Bad Leroy Brown was from?
I think.
Yeah, that's the song. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even gotten that, but I knew it was a reference to the
How
song.
old I am.
I was right there with you. It just took me a second, like, oh yeah, I guess he is from that place. Yeah. But so yeah, that's where I work. I don't live on the south side of Chicago. I live in a nice, lovely suburb. But you know what? I love teaching there. You know, when we were there, but now we are doing this whole at-home learning situation, which has just been completely ridiculous because we were already a startup school, right? Our first day of school was September 2019. So this is our first batch of students. And then in March, it was like, oh, okay, startup school, startup online school, same thing.
Go.
It was like ready, set, go. It was absolutely nuts because my colleagues in Pennsylvania and other people I know who are in the education field here, they had at least like a week and a half, 2 weeks. CPS didn't even start for 3 weeks in. But my school, we got the news that we might shut down at like noon on Friday. And then it was like Friday at 3:30 where they were like, okay, we're shut down for at least 2 weeks. Be ready to go on Monday. And we were like, okay, let's go. So we kind of had to design a whole new online curriculum in like a weekend. But I mean, it was awful. It was awful starting out, but looking back on it, we are in such good shape now because now we are working out all of the kinks and stuff like that. But Chicago Public Schools, because I'm a charter school, Art in Motion is part of the Distinctive Schools Network. So we're a charter. So we're not under the Chicago Public Schools umbrella, but Chicago Public Schools, they are, they're in a little bit of a tight spot because they didn't get started until like 3 weeks after it happened. And, their head of offices were actually asking our head of offices, our CEO and our kind of leadership, how to run things because we just started to do it straight from the get-go. It was like a big article in Forbes. It was really, really fancy. It was super cool. So yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, that's the whole thing. The people that moved and decided, it was really tough at first to figure out what it was going to be like. And I know that at Blackhawk, the first thing that my daughter got was, "Can you answer this test?" That was the first test that she got. Yeah. And but yeah, it was that simple. It was just okay, let's see where everybody is as far as technology goes, and let's run. So what kind of things are you doing online?
So luckily we did a really big push because when we were in the building, every student had a Chromebook.
Okay.
A Chromebook that they didn't take home with them. They just left in the building. But that Friday at noon, it was like, okay, now you're on your prep. Good. Let's call parents and get these Chromebooks home. So like, luckily we were able to do a huge push out the day of, and then we were able to open our doors for like 4 hours that Monday to give people technology. Then after that, our director, which is kind of like our principal and our co-director, they literally loaded up the car and started to drive around to all the kids' houses in Chicago and did door drop-offs, just because a lot of our students, unfortunately, don't have that kind of technology. But my administration did such a killer job at getting it to them. So I had that kind of perk at the beginning, is that my kids do have technology. I didn't have to mess with sending out a million paper copies or anything like that. So at first it was just like, okay, let's try to do the same things that we were doing. But now it's turned into all project based, and I'm so super excited. They're in the middle of a couple projects now, and they got to choose what they get to do. So I'm doing a parody project, cover remix, recording, music theater project. Like, I'm doing all these different things that they're really just getting to sit back and like start creating, because that's super, super, super important during it is the most important. And we don't have an instrumental program yet because, of course, like, we barely had a program at all. So I was just trying to get it off the ground. So my position is like vocal music and piano, which at school we had an amazing like $100,000 grant. We had all Roland keyboards. They were fantastic. They just got all set up, and then like 3 weeks later we were out of school. But
Oh.
so it was a little disappointing, but so now we're really just focusing on not quite the instrumental stuff, not quite the vocal stuff, but just getting in there and creating however they can. I have kids who are really good artists, like on paper and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so if you were to make an album, like give me some album artwork, and stuff like that. So we're really just like, as long as they are creating something and turning it in, I'm all for it. They get the grade.
Right.
That's really what's important during this time, It's just
Yeah.
creating and having some kind of an outlet for everything that's going on, because it's ridiculous.
Yes. It is. It's just crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's super neat. So like, now I know this because we talk like 24/7, you and me, but so like you're able to know these kids like very individually because you're this creative arts school. So like I'm wondering like how you just like connect with these kids like differently than like, let's say, like a different school would, or like what's unique about it.
Yeah, so I am very, very lucky. I've never been in this situation before where I don't only know every kid in my classes, I really know every student in the entire school, because we're a startup. Right now, we're only 7th and 8th grade. And then next year we add on 9, and then we go 10, 11, 12. So we'll be a middle school, high school in 5 years. But this year we only have 200 kids. And I know every single one of them. I probably know like 99% of their names. But we are such a tight-knit community and a tight-knit school that I have the opportunity to do that. And online has been harder to connect with students just because I don't get that FaceTime. Because when we were at school, I had the perfect job of morning door duty, which it sounds awful, and it's like rain and snow and shine. And we're in Chicago, and my school's right next to the lake, so it was. I had to get a heated jacket for Christmas to maintain myself. But I had the wonderful perk every single morning. I would go outside. I would play music, really cheesy, corny music that they hated. But like they would get that like I would get the eye roll and like, Miss Leitsch, like, come on, like you're really playing the chicken dance out here? Like we're free. Like, why are you doing that? But I would get that interaction with them every single day when they walked in. I would know who was at school, who wasn't at school, because I was just there. But now I'm still trying to find those magical moments with them, but it's a lot harder because, they're at home. They're not logging on unless they want to. Half of them are sleeping until 2:00 in the afternoon, even though they have class at 10 a.m. So just getting the connection at all has been a little bit difficult, but the great thing is that I have an amazing network of teachers. There's probably there's only I think 21. I think there's only like 21 teacher/staff members in the building. So like the connections we have, it could be like in the morning meeting, oh, did you talk to what's his face? Oh, can you tell him that like he has an assignment for me? So I really have amazing coworkers that we make it work somehow. And like that was the thing. We actually got into a discussion during our morning meeting about how like we don't know how we've been able to make this work. But as an educator, that's just kind of what you do. You just make it work. You make sure you're reaching those kids, and you make sure that they're at least turning on the computer at 2 a.m. to do an assignment, when you're awake. Mm-hmm. And I have some teachers, I really, really try to make my school day, like 9 a.m. to like 6, and then I try to log off. But I know teachers who are taking calls from kids at like 11 o'clock at night just because like that's when they're awake. That's when they're ready to do the work. And like I'd be lying if I said I wasn't answering emails that late at night, because you just have to go and do what you got to do. Oh, hello, Mr. Hoylage.
It's very nice that George comes to see us. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just kind of like what you got. You do what you got to do over here. It's.
Well, and that's what we're seeing in a lot of situations is the people that are actually doing a good job and are really engaging and making it happen. It's the ones that get me, and this is in my industry too, of because there's stores even in our area that have just shut down and aren't doing anything. And I'm like, I don't understand how you do nothing, right? Nobody really understands how this works or what this looks like or whatever, but do something.
Anything.
Yeah. Keep the kids engaged. And I know my daughter has actually done better in some of her classes. Now, she was in the top 5% of her class, so she was doing well anyways. But she was doing actually better because she got to go back and watch things again. Right. So if there was a talk or something like that, she can go watch it and understand it and stuff like that. So, some kids are thriving with this. Some kids aren't thriving with this. And as we've said before, just figuring out a better way to be able to reach all the kids is what's really important. And the disparity we see in things like technology are huge. We've had some school districts that are like 600 and 700 units short on Chromebooks for kids. So, and so that technology needs to get better in the schools too, so that so when this happens again, not if this happens again, but when it happens again, and that's the whole thing is when it happens again, there's going to be a better plan in place. Because absolutely. People are going to realize that, the other big thing is the fact that nobody really realized that a lot of these kids, this is where they get their food. And and that shouldn't be that way either. So, as we've said several times, we hope that there's just more understanding on the other side of this, and there's more attention to these kids and what their lives are really like. And the music thing is huge for these kids. I mean, anybody that we've talked to, the schools that are doing stuff with these kids, it's like their one sense of normalcy in the whole thing. Because it works out to be kind of the same as what they were doing in school, where everything else is like weird, but this gives them something to latch on to, and it's very cool that way. So
it's absolutely so important. And being a startup school, kind of making this transition into online, it kind of highlighted some of the gaps that we were having before, because I felt like, especially for a first year school, we were doing extremely well, which I still believe that we are. But now I think that we're even stronger because we did see like where the gaps are. And it even came down to, unfortunately, we have some kids with some really, awful backstories and stuff like that. But now, like before this happened, we didn't even know about some of it because, they would come to school and like that was their safe place and it was okay. But it's just even more important, like the food distribution and everything like that. And the Chromebooks, it's absolutely crazy. But I'm not glad that we're in this situation, but I am glad that it gave us the opportunity to kind of step back and really see where the gaps are in this education. And even, so California schools, a lot of their schools have been shutting down for the fall until January. And our governor here in Illinois, the trend has been, he's been watching what California has been doing, and he's going to implement that thing. That's what's happened the past couple months. So that's what we're looking at too. We're looking at, okay, if we're out of school until January, we have it's not even like a whole new crop of kids. It's a whole new grade level that we're teaching, because we've been used to 7th and 8th grade. And now, oh, look, 9th grade. So we're just like, oh my goodness. I was just talking to my director or principal yesterday. We do staff cool downs, where it's just kind of getting on talking about, I was like, so like, are we doing construction? Because right now they're at the building, there's 5 like academic classrooms, 4 arts classrooms, and then like 3 or 4 extra kind of like multi-purpose rooms. So, and that's good to accommodate 200 kids. But then I was like, so wait, are they doing construction? And she was like, well, no, they're not doing construction over the summer. I was like, oh, okay. So if we go back in the fall, and she's like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to figure it out. I was like, perfect. Good. I would honestly, my director's name is Kara May, and I would follow her to the ends of the earth because she is just like such a marvelous woman. She's equally go with the flow, but like be the rock. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but she's equally like powering through, let's get the job done, as well as go with the flow. Like, we need to make sure this jives with everyone. It's amazing. But yeah, it's just absolute craziness.
That is. I mean, that's one of those jobs that I don't want is being the administrators making these decisions. I mean, because California has pretty much already decided. I heard that South Carolina was already decided they're not going back, and Maryland's talking about it. It's all weird, and for how do you do that? I mean, we once again with going back to my daughter again, and the fact that she is going to be a freshman in college. How do you send her off to college to room with somebody that she doesn't know, along with 1,000 other people?
Yeah.
In the fall when we don't know what's really going on yet. So we'll see. I think the problem with the universities and colleges is going to be the football programs. That's what's going to drive the whole thing there, because the amount of lost revenue from those programs is going to drive decisions that it probably shouldn't. But yeah, I mean, because that's because if they're going to say it's safe enough for football, then it must be safe enough for everybody.
Sure. Okay.
Because seriously, I mean, you got all 22 guys on a field bashing into each other. If it's okay there, I don't see it happening. But
so Amber, you were talking about like construction at the school, and then I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I need to show everybody your music classroom, like the wall. So I brought up a picture of it, and I'm gonna see if I can look at that
classroom.
That is super cool.
I miss it so much. They had it was like, thank you for showing that. It was like a week before school started, and we're doing like teacher training, and they're still. Oh, what did you do? There you go. That's good. We were teacher training. There was dust everywhere. Construction workers, because they were, of course, like 4 days before the kids there. Of course, we're still doing construction, right? But like, I leave one day. I have a huge. It's a huge room with like 2-story like ceilings, skylights. It was beautiful to begin with. But then I leave one day. I come back the next day. I walk down, put my stuff down. I was like, oh my God. So they had these professional graffiti artists from the South Side of Chicago come in and just go crazy. And it blew my mind. Even, I wish I had a picture of my piano. That the same artist, we had a piano that was just donated to us. So, I can't even tell. Well, I'll tell you why I can't tell what brand it is in a second. But I came in. So I'm looking at the wall. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And I turn around, and the piano is spray painted the same way. It's like galaxy craziness paint. I was just like, okay, that's how we're rolling. Let's go.
Yep.
Like, okay. I can. Yeah, so that's why I don't even know what brand it is, because it's been spray painted. It's just a little spin it, But like, it's crazy. And there's artwork all over. There's artwork on the outside of the school like that. There's artwork on the inside of the school, all by local artists. We've had people donate artwork to us. And then there's even, I remember, like when we were doing teacher training, there was this like 8 or 9-year-old girl that heard about our school opening. And she comes in with her mom with like 2 really big like pieces of artwork. She's like, yeah, I just really wanted to contribute these pieces of artwork because like I just know I'm going to go here someday. And it was just like, oh, that's so sweet.
That's adorable.
It was so super adorable. And then the next week for our opening, like she got to meet Common and everything. It was crazy. Oh, I don't think I mentioned.
No, you didn't.
Like Common, the superstar rapper person, you know who that is? Sure. Yeah. He is. He's a founding member, and he's kind of our biggest contributor to our school because he grew up like 2 miles down the road. So he's like always there. Well, he's not always there. He came there a couple times. He did press. One day he just showed up in the middle of a school day, and that was like sheer pandemonium. But even like I was, and that's my story too, because I've never actually gotten to meet him. I've always been the person pulling the kids off of him. So I've always been within that like 1 or 2 feet area of him. I've actually never gotten to introduce myself, but no, he's great too. He sent us all teacher appreciation gifts last week, like a big bucket of Chicago popcorn. He's even we have an incentive. Oh, hello, Jane. We would have an incentive for our kids because they have to set goals every day and stuff like that. And one of the things, if you set every goal or a goal a day for the month of May, like they're going to get on a FaceTime chat with Common. So like even in this, it's crazy. Even in this situation, like he's supporting us, and we have a really big Instagram presence. So he's like posting stuff on our Instagram. He posted like a video to the kids, like, hey, just make sure you keep on going. Like, you know, like a really motivational thing. And for teacher appreciation, he posted a picture. So I just keep saying it's craziness. It's craziness.
Very cool.
Never ever thought I would be in the hip school as this is ever. Right? It's just it's way too cool for me. I'm like the lamest teacher, but they all know it and they all embrace it. They love me for it. But like I just never saw myself in this position, but now that I am, goodness, like I would never try. It was always kind of like when I knew I was going into the education path, I knew I always wanted to do something very art specific. Like I kind of, you know, like with Blackhawk, we had the music academy and everything like that. And that was where my passion was. That's how I got through high school, was having those extra music classes and being able to express myself that way. So I knew once I got into this profession that I would love to be in kind of an art focused school. Did I think I was going to get there at 24? Absolutely not. I thought I was going to have to be very, very much like in the last leg of my career to have as great of a job as this, you know, but here I am now. And we're just like, we're making it work somehow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
It is off the wall.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Amazing. So with you know, everything that has been going on with your school, like I mean, transitioning to online learning, that's ginormous. And you know, with founding a school, you also have in your back pocket a set of skills with musical theater, right?
It's my greatest passion. Yes.
Is it?
Oh my gosh.
Passion?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so the first question is going to be your dream role. If you could be anything, anywhere, anytime.
Dolly from Hello Dolly.
So that's a good one.
Without a doubt. Because she's a meddler. She likes to meddle, but she's not, and she's extra, but she's not too extra. And she has some of the greatest songs.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Without a doubt. I've never been a part of that.
What was that?
It matches you because you're so extra.
Yeah, you are extra.
I do 10. I
love it.
Peter Potter on that extra side. No, just dabble a little bit on that.
Dabble in it. So yes, yeah. My one right now is Barry from The Prom. That's what I want to do.
Oh, you know what? I've listened to a couple songs. I've not seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either. I've just listened to it. But
I'm ready to get. I'm ready to get some theater back into my life. This whole thing became real for me when they shut down Broadway, and then they just announced yesterday that they're down until September 6th at least. But you know.
But Hamilton's going to be on Disney Plus on the 3rd. July 3rd. I am like gassed about that.
I know.
I will watch that.
You know, like. Oh, sorry. Speaking to that though, it's like it's really awful right now that we're not like getting that new like music theater feed. But I am so out of my mind excited to see what artists, especially in the music theater world, are creating right now. So like after this is over in a couple of years, what kind of musicals are we gonna get, you know?
That's true. I haven't thought about that.
Because everybody's at home and they're bored. I mean, I'm not bored, I'm doing a lot, but like some people, like, you know, if they're artists, if that was their job, like I pray that they are creating something, because I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
You know,
that will be interesting. Yeah. So go ahead.
I was going to say, so like on that note, like if anybody has any ideas, like if you would guess, like let's put not a bet, but But if you would guess what's going to be the next big musical that came from writing out of like this era, what is it going to be? Do either of you have any thoughts? Does anybody watching have any thoughts? Comment it below. I want to know.
Like a plot?
Yeah. Or like just like maybe like a subject.
Oh goodness. It could be anything.
Yeah, it could
Do you
be.
think it's going to be about a pandemic?
It could be.
Probably.
It could be.
You know what? I really started to brainstorm this for like as a theater project for my kids. I saw someone else do it. I think it's most definitely, if we go into the fall, will be this. But I really want to see a play like virtually. Like, you know, like the characters like on like, you know, FaceTime or whatever we're on, where they're just all like a grid on a screen and interacting with each other. So like
Zoom the musical.
Like what, the musical?
Zoom the musical.
Yes.
Right. More than like a script read through, but like you're talking like original, like let's make this specifically for virtual read. That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like if this is the new normal, like you're gonna, because I think that that's what a lot of people are struggling with too. I mean, I know my kids are struggling with it because they're all in middle school. So, you know, not seeing their friends every day of the week, it is disastrous. And a big thing here too is they have 8th grade graduation here.
Right.
And it's just as big as high school graduation because most of the schools here are K through 8 schools. So you're with the same kids for 9 years. And then we just have so many different schools in Chicago that they don't go to a specific high school together. They go everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really kind of like a high school graduation where you might not see your classmates again. So they make a really big deal of it. And like, that's the biggest thing right now for my kids is that they are just distraught that they don't get to see their friends every day, that they're in 8th grade and they're not coming back to this school, or they are coming back, but their best friend isn't. So like, and they're really struggling with the idea of connectivity, you know, and like, this is the new normal for connecting and everything like that. So I think that that's going to be reflected somehow in artistry. You know, I'm just really excited to see how I thought about it for a second. I was like, we'll get there. Don't want to do too much now, you know. It's
Right.
No, I think there'll be a big push to get back into that kind of stuff, the theater, live performances, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, I think once it is open, it will be a drive back to it. But
I know that's what I'm going straight for as well. You know.
Let's go, Amber.
I know, you know, Beetlejuice is closing, so I'm like really upset about that because I really wanted to go see Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
and it actually is closing. It was scheduled to close, I think it was June 6th or something like that. So it's already done, obviously, which is too bad because I would really that's a show I'd like to see too.
Dear Evan Hansen was. The tour was going to come to Chicago like the week after my school ended. I was like, oh, it's going to be so perfect to end the year with that. I was like, oh, like, oh no,
like, nope.
I'm going to have to watch a bootleg. No.
we Brighton Music Center don't encourage bootlegs.
No, see, they should just video all that stuff. I mean, I'd watch it. I paid to watch that, right?
Yeah.
Especially right now. I mean, those big musicals, I pay to watch those. I don't want ABC making them because they mess up most of them. ABC's worse. That Rent thing was the worst thing that I've ever seen. Not as bad as Cats the musical, but close. I
didn't even know that they made one for Rent.
Yeah, ABC did a Rent one, and half the people got sick, and then somebody midway through broke their arm, and they had to change
what?
It was an understudy. I mean, it was a disaster. I mean, it was just not good at all, and yeah, it was bad. So yeah.
Didn't have understudies.
Well, they did have an understudy for that person, so that person changed like after a commercial break. It was like.
What?
What happened here?
Wow.
Like, we found out they broke their arm or something like that when they were doing something. I have no idea. But yeah, no. But seriously, I mean, there's been talk about this for years, and why? I mean, because you can't get to Broadway to see all the shows and to see the original cast. Like watching Hamilton with the original cast. Now I've seen it. I saw it in Cleveland, and it was great, but not the original cast. I mean, to be able to see it with the original cast,
level.
I would pay for that. I mean, I have no problem with that, but I'd go see it in the theater too, because it is a different experience.
More times in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, and they started to do that. What was it like? Didn't they start to? They were doing like live operas and live theater and live recordings in movies.
In the theaters.
I went to go too, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. No,
absolutely.
No, especially if the people are getting paid. That's all that matters. The performers need to get paid, which I'm sure that Lynn's making all kinds of money. I guess this was a $75 million production of Hamilton.
I could see it.
Yeah, $75 million to film Hamilton. So somebody made money, which is great. And somebody should make money.
Now, of course, Disney's the only person that can afford to put it on their streaming service.
Well, but that's the interesting thing, because I know that Universal released Trolls, the Troll movie, whatever that was. Yeah, they released that right online. And I know that AMC movie theaters and one of the other big ones said that they're no longer going to show Universal movies because there's a time window that they have agreed to for the release of these movies, and they rely on that. Yeah. And now if you're going to release stuff to the TV, so it's going to be an interesting fight coming up to see, because I think a lot of stuff's going to go direct to TV. And Disney's losing billions of dollars.
Oh yeah,
but forget
about it.
Going in December, I don't care. Even if there's nobody there, I'm just going to go and sneak in.
That would be like most of the time I would prefer that nobody was at Disney.
Yeah,
the only ones ever.
Yeah,
I just want to go to Epcot and eat all the food. That's my favorite part of Disney.
Do the tour.
Have you ever done the drink around the countries?
No, because every time I'm there, I can't.
We were either too young or chaperoning kids.
Oh, okay. Someday we'll do that, because that's the most fun.
It's just good.
Yeah, by the time you get to Germany. It's interesting. But speaking of that, so we're talking about having a cats drinking game. So if you want to join us for the cats drinking game, anytime you feel shame watching Cats the musical, the movie version, you have to take a drink. So
I'll do a shout out to my mother, because last Sunday was Mother's Day, and the one thing she wanted to do was we both order a pizza and watch Cats. We press play at the same time. That's what she wanted to do, because we both hadn't seen it before last Sunday, and she's like, "You have to see it." I was like, "I agree," even though I'm a little afraid. We have to see it. So, but that's what she wanted to do on Mother's Day. I was like, "Okay, Mom."
That's awesome. That is really a great Mother's Day thing.
Oh yeah, Jennifer delivered her pizza. It was great.
I did. Aww. Yeah, it was a whole big thing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh yeah. The cat was crazy.
I didn't get it just in the regular thing, and then no.
I saw a live version. It came to Pittsburgh when I was in high school, but goodness. Because I didn't know what it was about before I went. I was just like, okay, cool, Cats. I gotta go see it, right? But I was just like, what is happening? What is their plot? What's gonna happen? So that's what it was. Just watching the actual thing. And then the movie, I was like, okay, I get the plot a little bit more now. But man, am I kind of upset. I understand the plot now.
It doesn't help. The plot doesn't help. No.
It did not.
No. Have you ever seen Starlight Express?
Right now.
No.
Starlight. Have you heard about Starlight Express? It's about the same era as Cats, but everybody's on roller skates, and they put the roller skate ramps out into the audience, I was actually at a performance where they went off the stage and somebody like broke their head open and stuff like that because they wiped out. So yeah, high risk.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's another weird one. It's like,
I'm gonna start roller skating soon.
are you?
And
Yeah. Andy and I were talking about it today. We're gonna start roller skating.
Okay, why not?
Why not?
Beautiful.
Imagine me like just rolling up to the store like ready to start work, like in roller skates, just skating around the whole town of New Brighton.
No, you're talking
First
about roller blades or roller skates?
Oh, skates. No, yeah. Last time I put on rollerblades, it was in 9th grade. We were in Indianapolis with the band, and I went down because somebody said that the blades were easier than the quad skates. And yeah, we're not putting those on again.
She's traumatized.
I am traumatized. That's one of the things that's traumatized me in life.
That's too bad.
We'll overcome it though with roller skates.
Yeah, the skates, the quad.
Quad skates.
Yeah, the quad skates. The one that you can
I've always heard that rollerblades are better.
I just avoid things with wheels.
But I the size of this body that I have here, if I fall, it's bad. Something breaks, and no. I don't ice skate, I don't roller skate, I don't skateboard, I have a hard time walking sometimes. I don't need any help falling. So.
Imagine, I just had this thought. Imagine if you had like roller blades, but it's like you're skiing, so you do these big 2 sticks, and then you just see somebody like just
people do that.
Roller skiing, like just in town. I've never seen that, but I want to.
I'll send you videos. People do that.
Thank you.
That's not a new thing.
That's a scary thing, though.
It is a scary thing. Yeah.
Well, Amber. So Amber, as we start to wrap things up, I just want to know if you have any like words of insight or like what's going on, like what you're looking forward to with the future of your school, anything that you want to add, like, hey, teachers, fellow teachers of America, here are some words of inspiration, anything like that. I always ask this really awkward question at the end.
No, that's not awkward at all. It's informational.
Okay, fantastic.
Really, I'm gonna stick to kind of what I said before, as that like class promotions, getting from one grade to the other, that's really important. So grades are important, all that stuff. But what's more important right now is just creating anything, making sure that you have that outlet, making sure that and especially teachers to be supporting in that outlet, because a big struggle that's coming across now is, of course, like parents are becoming teachers, which can be a good thing, and it could be a very, very stressful thing. But of course, the first thing that most parents are going to be is, do your math homework. Do you have your English homework done? Do that. And like, that's good. And that's very, very important too. But it's also remembering that the kids need that space to be themselves and to create. And for most of the time, that space was school. And for a lot of students, especially my students, that space was in an art room, music, art, dance, whatever it was. So just kind of remembering that, the paperwork side of it, the grade side, that's important. But what's more important is to make sure that they have an outlet to express themselves. And I would urge teachers as well to kind of remember that, because I've had to remember that too, because being a startup school, the paperwork and the hoops are astronomical, but I've kind of had to remind myself that, like, you know what? I got a video of a kid dancing today, and that's more than I could ever ask for. And it's just fantastic. And like, now's the time to kind of depend on each other as well. I mean, even you guys, like Brighton Music Center, like you guys are still open, which is incredible. Like, not open for walk-ins, but open, for curbside. I hear all about it. But like, you guys have been there for me for like my first saxophone rental in 4th grade. And Richard, you put mics on me for my junior and senior musicals and stuff like that. And like even when I got to Chicago, you guys were still supporting me with anything I need. I think I even ordered some sleigh bells off of you guys last year. But it's just kind of remembering to lean on each other and to remember that things aren't shut down. They are just operating differently. Like, and we keep going back to this quote at school as well, is that school is not over, school is not out, but it's just different. You know, school is still happening and life is still happening. You just gotta, it's just in a very different way. So it's all good.
I had to give Autumn the attention yesterday because she was talking back.
How did that feel? Did it feel good?
It did feel good. Like, you know what? That's it. You have after school detention.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do. I'm serious. If I'm the teacher, I'm allowed to do that.
Oh.
I'm not taking that mouthy thing.
He's been bugging me.
Oh,
there he is. The crown
over there, huh? It wasn't he in like a social media post for you guys or something with sunglasses?
Yeah.
Yes.
I photoshopped him. I took a photo of him laying down. I put the coffee beans in the background and sunglasses on him while he's holding a saxophone.
There you go. What are you gonna do? You gonna jump? You gonna jump? I dare you. I dare you.
I dare you. I dare you.
Oh yeah. See, this is the new one for me. All my kids know him. You know, if they don't, because the big thing I've been coming across is like that they're all just blank on the screen. I can't see their faces. They won't talk to me. I was like, guys, if you don't tell me how you're doing today, I'm going to make Gershwin talk. And he's going to tell us about the day. And he's going to tell us about their time. And they're like, no. Okay, see, it's just a different kind of school.
It's just one of those things. What gets is as I think George said that you would try something for a couple of weeks and it would work, and then all of a sudden it would stop working. So you need to try something else, and that would work for a couple of weeks, and then had to try something else. I mean, you just have to get them to engage.
Oh yeah, and that's why Gershwin's now like my assistant.
Yep,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep, you do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So thank you so much.
Sure.
For having me on. I really Yay.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for watching. If you stuck with this this long, comment below, say hi, tell us what your favorite musical is, your opinion of Cats. I would love to hear it. I would really love to hear it. I still haven't seen it. And we'll see you sometime soon. Thank you, Amber.
Thanks.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.